Hey everybody, welcome back to Fireside Chats with AR Farina. Hey, we're going to start a new season, and in this season, same outfit, different book, Sense and Sensibility. We're going to talk about Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility. Now this is one of the big three. We talked about Mansfield Park, which is considered a minor work, although it's her longest one. People don't like it as much. They can be wrong. Sense and Sensibility, though, is one a lot of people love. It has been adapted, probably most famously by Ang Lee, directed, that Emma Thompson wrote and starred in as Eleanor Dashwood. Sense and Sensibility is a story of, it's the book that has two heroines in it. And so the Dashwood sisters, Eleanor, who's 19, Marianne, who's 16, and by the way, there's another sister, Margaret, who's 13. Don't forget about her. I certainly won't. I'm assuming she'll come up as we have this discussion, especially when we get to my version of Sense and Sensibility, which is called That Other Dashwood Girl. So, but the gist is the Dashwood sisters, their mother, Mrs. Dashwood, who doesn't have a name, I've given her a name in my version of the book. She's 35 years old. Her husband, who's much older than her, passes away quite suddenly, and what he's done, because they haven't had a son, he has a son from a previous marriage where his previous wife died, John Dashwood. He takes it. All the inheritance goes to him, and so he's really kind of a lovable boob, but his wife, Fanny Dashwood, she's a bit of a monster. And so in the plot of Sense and Sensibility, we see what happens when the Dashwood sisters and their mother are sent out into the universe with really nothing to fend for. None of them, so you've got a widow, 3 unwed daughters, and so of course, in Jane Austen's time, what's the most important thing? A man. And so that's what happens, is this is a story of what is it like for women in a world without men, and how they have to rely on the kindness of men or the cruelty of men. And it is, sure of its time, it's very much a book about that. It's also commenting on that. And so what I think works, and as we go through it during this season, I think it'll be really interesting for us to have that conversation about what Austen is saying about that. And I know in the last season I did talk about how, that it's a feminist masterpiece. And I'm not going to hit all the exact same points because each book is a little bit different. I'm not trying to just retread on everything. But we will have a conversation. Every one of her books, the clergy is involved. There's some sort of religiosity. There's always somebody who's in the military. Both of those things are there. Music matters. Art matters. These things come up in all of Austen's books. But in this one, this is much more of a commentary on the patriarchy more than anything. And so that will come up even more and more. All of her books are about that. They're all social satire. They're all those things. But this book really is trying to take a look at the patriarchy. And while the word ally didn't exist at the time when she was writing this, we actually meet somebody, a man, who is very much, several men who are very much allies to the plight of women and who see them as their equals. We'll definitely have a conversation about the age gap that's on full display in this book, which is maybe the widest age gap of all of the heroines and the person that she ends up with. So we'll break down the characters as we go through the book a little bit. I'll spend some time on, I still want to do that. We'll spend the time with the heroes, the heroines, the villains before we get into some of that stuff. But because we've got 2 heroes, we've got 2 heroines, we've got multiple villains, that part will take a little bit longer. I'm really looking forward to that though, because I do think some of the villains in here are juicy. Maybe some of the juiciest villains, which, they do things that I think modern writers have definitely borrowed from. I think they look at Sense and Sensibility and are like, yeah, I can totally do that. And they should. They're right to do that because it's good stuff. So Sense and Sensibility, I'm curious where people land on this. I do think people genuinely try to, claim it as one of the big 3, along with Emma and Pride and Prejudice. Lots of people really like it, and I'm curious to find out from folks. Please let me know. Do you like it because you've read it, or do you like it because the movie versions or the TV versions or the way that it's been portrayed in the media? I really do think that Ang Lee, Emma Thompson movie is very good, but it also is it's a very specific view on the book, and I don't think even it, as much as it loves Jane Austen, doesn't really get to where Jane was going. And so I'm curious what people think. I'll be frank, this is of the main 6, this is my least favorite. it's still a masterpiece. It's favorite, right? Favorite doesn't necessarily mean bad. It just means I don't like Farina. We'll get into that more as we go. So, welcome back to Fireside Chats with Farina, Season 2, Sense and Sensibility. I'm leaving that in. Sense and Sensibility. Let's figure what this is all about. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye.